Okay, let's just take a little look at subflows in a flow or automation. So you'll see that there is the menu up the top left here that says subflows. So even the main flow is a subflow. You can close that, but then you cannot add anything to this pane. You need to have at least the main subflow open to be able to add things to it. And so we can go ahead and create a new subflow, and we might have something like generate image if we had some action that did that. And that pops up a new subflow tab up the top here that we can flick between. And now what we want to do, if we want to run that subflow, at the moment in main, it'll go through these actions and it won't run that subflow. So we need to grab the action run subflow. We'll put that in at the bottom there. That'll pop up and say, what are all the subflows available to me? I'm going to choose this generate image one. And there's input as expression, which means you can kind of, it's quite useful for things like if you have conditions where you say, if this is happening, then I want to run this subflow, or if this is happening, I want to run this subflow. You can actually have the variable in here, and that will choose which subflow that you might want to run. But anyway, standard one is just generate image here that we've just created. So now once we get to this action, it will go through and run whatever actions are in this subflow. And if you've only got like 5 or 10 actions in total in your whole flow, then you won't really need to have subflows. It won't help that much. So say if it's this sort of this length here, then it's probably not worth it. If you're going over this, then it is worthwhile having subflows in there to separate it out into the different kind of bits and pieces of functionality and actions that you're performing. That is useful, not just for an organizational kind of point of view, making it easier to remember which bits do what, but also so that things can be reusable if need be. So this generate image is a good example where maybe we've got 5 steps to go and generate an image, maybe on an AI generator. And we might want to do that at multiple stages throughout our flow. So we can just copy and paste that and say we want to do it here and we want to do it here. And then we'll just go through, and each time it will run that, and we can pass variables into it as well if we need to. And so it just means it's reusable, so that then if I come along and go, okay, I want to change the AI image generator that I'm using from Leonardo to something else, then I can just edit it in this one subflow, and I don't have to go and edit it in each one of these because they just call the subflow. So it's a really good way of organizing things and making things a lot more reusable in your flows. The nice thing as well is you can name it as accurately as you want to. You can use spaces, you can call it whatever you like, but it needs to kind of describe what it is that's happening in that subflow and be as kind of self-contained as possible, is my recommendation. So we've got the run the subflow, that's how we can do that. And then in the subflow, what we have is an option to exit the subflow. So perhaps there's a condition where you say, if we reach this point, or if there's this error, I just want you to get out of the subflow and return execution to the main subflow. In which case, let's say this is the only action that's in here, and we'll get to it, it'll run, it'll jump over to this subflow, and then it'll jump back out again, and it'll continue on processing the other actions in the main subflow. However, if we were to say in this one, rather than exit subflow, let's say stop flow, and at the moment it won't run because there's the exit. So let's say it's just stop flow, and we'll say it's successful. That will stop the entire flow. So the first time that we get to the subflow, it will run, and then it will just stop the entire flow. So none of these subsequent actions will get executed. So you just have to be a bit careful with those two. There's the exit flow, which will get you out of the current subflow that you're in. And then there's stop flow, which stops the entire thing. And then with the stop, you have 2 options. You can either say it's just successfully, we want to stop this one, or we might want to add an error message or just an informational message to say, the reason I stopped, if I can type, the reason I stopped is because of, and whatever it is, the reason. So that then you know. So that's a really handy way of dividing things up. That's pretty much it for subflows. So we'll finish there.